And one of the intriguing emails I get from time to time is, you sit alone in your library at a computer 5 hours a day, which is how I am very disciplined in my writing. Um, when it gets to be June, July, and August, you aren't going to find me here. I'm out in the middle of Lake Iliamna at a log cabin that just happens to have Starlink. Okay, so I can stay in touch with the world and do research and some writing. But I'm out there because that's why I live in Alaska. But when I'm in my office writing, I'm never alone. I'm surrounded by really fascinating people, and I get to make them just as fascinating as I want. And I can use whatever models of humans I like to put there. And you get some really good people and you have some really bad people. The great thing about having bad people in your life as a writer, you could kill them off.
Yeah, I say the same thing. Roger, I'm never lonely. I'm always feel like I have something to do. I always feel like there's people with me. Um, Not to say I don't love it when my wife gets home at night, I don't, I love it when my buddies call me and
Yeah.
this beautiful day at 4 o'clock, we're going out and we're going to play 9 holes. And then we're going to go to a pub and we're going to watch the NCAA championship game. And, that's what I mean when I say I have a wonderful life. God has given me just a really incredible life. And I think that's the thing that all writers need to realize and understand, especially people coming up. You've been through it. I went through it. It's a hard road. There's a lot of rejection. You get your ass kicked all the time, all the time. So you have to do it for another reason. It can't be about the money. It's got to be about the love of telling stories. And, because if you can put that in front of your face and say, this is why I'm doing it for the love of stories, you're going to look back like I do now. I look back at 12, 15 years ago when I stopped practicing law and just started writing full time. And you're going to say, I have a pretty good life. I've been really blessed, and I always tell my students, never lose sight of that. There's a lot of people out there that have really, really not good lives. And so we're blessed in what we do. There's a lot of rejection in it. There certainly is. But if you do it for the right reason, you never feel like you wasted a moment.
Well, agree. And beyond, you talk about a lot of rejection. I come from an era where failure is something you learn from. So the rejection part has never bothered me very much. I try to study it. I try to understand it. I try to figure out why. Um, and I can honestly tell you, Bob, I've had a number of cases, as have most writers, where the initial rejection on a book, I mean, The Boy Who Lived in a Tree is a very different book from what you read originally. It's been worked and worked and worked. And finally, a great editor got a hold of it and just helped me work it even more. Um, the story hasn't changed very much, but the craft has changed dramatically in how that book was done. And it became crystal clear to me that if I was ever going to get that published, that's what I had to do. I had to just keep working it until it was so good, somebody had to say yes.
Yeah.
They just have to say yes.
Yeah.
So,
And you just need that one person that believes in you as a writer.
yeah.
I always tell my students, what are you looking for? It's important. Are you just want to publish this one book because you want to write your memoirs for your grandkids or whatever? Or are you looking for a career? Because if you're looking for a career, you want that person that loves your writing and believes in your writing and believes in you. And I've been very blessed. Years and years ago, I stumbled into the Jane Rosen agency in New York, and that's what they said to me. We love your writing. And when I was going through all the failures, I went out for a drink with Jane Rosen, and she looked me in the eye and she just said to me, it will happen for you. I've been in this business for 50 years and it will happen for you. I know talent. I see talent. Stay with it. It's going to happen. And she was right. And you need those optimistic people that believe in you and believe in the stories you're telling and believe in your writing. And if you can find those people, like I said, it's a pretty good life. It's a lot of fun.
One one of the fun things about the statement you just made, tying back to rejection, one of the most encouraging conversations I have ever had in my life was the final rejection that Amazon had in taking The Boy Who Lived in the Tree. And your editor had the conversation with me, and her conversation was very simple. She said, "Right this minute, it doesn't fit here. I've tried everything I could because I want to do this book. Just keep writing.
Yeah.
Just keep writing." Um, so, you're right. That again, if you take rejection and learn from it, somehow it works out just fine. It makes you better at what you do, but also makes you feel better yourself when you take a rejection and then make it work.
Yeah.
There's
I just think you appreciate, the struggles that writers go through
Yep.
more because, um, I get this question a lot now. Somebody will pick up one of my books and they'll say, "How come I've never heard of you? I just finished your first book and I've just bought the next 10. And, I've never heard of you before." And, it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing that somebody, when they write and they say this, it just, who knows? I don't know. It's just, you just keep doing what you love and people will discover you.
and it takes a break. You've got to have a break, just one break. And you
Absolutely.
know, I'm doing it the hard way. I'm doing it ourselves, and where you guys become discouraged if you don't sell 50,000 books. I'm encouraged when I sell 15,000 books. Um, but that's because I started it with nothing and doing it all on our own. And boy, have we made every possible mistake you can in
Yeah,
publishing, doing it ourselves.
sure.
Um, um, and again, one of the real key things is surrounding yourself with really good people. James Apt, who's working with us on this conversation, uh, has just been a godsend for us. Like I learned from you, I learned from him. When I was helping John Ayers and John Land with one of their books about 2 years ago, a bunch of technical work like I've done for you. Um, and just to be able to pick up the phone and call those guys now and say, what do you think about this? It's just extraordinarily helpful. And that's the other part that I have absolutely loved about this industry that I didn't know existed. Is there is competition here, but I've met very few authors who don't go out of their way to help other authors be better and write a better story.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, there's a lot of camaraderie there. And,
yeah.
and you need it, I'm at a point now where I don't do as many conferences as I once did. It's not to say I don't enjoy those times, but it takes me away from what I really enjoy, which is writing the next book. And one of the things I think I emphasized when you and I were speaking years ago, and which I think you took to heart, is write the next great book. That was a piece of advice that I got from someone at Amazon Publishing when I first started there. And I was worried about how to market and how to do all these things. And he said to me, "We think the best thing a writer can do is write the next great book and keep writing that next great book." The thing that I think that all writers need to understand, especially new writers, is like the woman who called me and said, "How come I've never heard of you? I read one of your books and now I've gone and bought them all." Well, I don't know if she read the first book I ever wrote. I highly doubt it. So what book was that? Well, whatever book it was, whether it was your first book, your 10th book, your 50th book, that has to be your best book. Because if it's not your best book, they're not going to go back and find your best book that was in the top. Every book you write has to be your best book because that might be the first book that a reader's going to pick up and pay for.